Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Today we're going to be doing a fish room update, and yes, I know it's been a little while since I posted any content. Almost a month. I think the 15th will be a month, not including live streams. And by the way, there will be a live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Q&A. I missed last week. I had some other stuff going on, just couldn't do it, so I do apologize. But anyway, we're going to do a fish room update. We're going to go through everything. I guess we'll go through everything that you see here, and we'll talk about it, talk about the changes, and kind of just do a little bit of rambling. And that's my treadmill that I try to use every day. Not so much though, not right now. Anyway, so let's go to start over here with the 3D printing. I'm gonna address some stuff that you guys were asking and just kind of talk about the setup. There is a whole video specifically on this setup for those of you who are wondering about filaments and upgrades, all the printers, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Ender 3 Pros here, a ton of upgrades, and they pretty much run seamlessly with the Octoprint, and it's great. They've been running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for months and months and months. It's constant. And yeah, 3D printing for the channel. It's kind of, you know, I sell coral as my main business, but 3D printing it's getting up there. I mean, during the summertime, the coral sales kind of dipped down a little bit. I did get a little bit dip last month, but my, you know, looking at my analytics and everything, coral, yeah, 3D printing went through the roof, and yeah, pretty thankful about that. New stuff going up on the website every week. Usually I try to come up with new ideas, and of course the custom print stuff, which is, we'll get in here in a second. One of the reasons why I got this printer the other day is kind of doing really well as well. So let's talk about ventilation. I actually just relocated this second fan. You guys are asking about fumes and stuff, and I had multiple people ask me about that. I print with PLA for the most part, but I do have quite a bit of PETG, which can be toxic to a certain extent. So I just relocated my second fan. I have another one you guys will see in a little bit. They are attached, and they all just blow outside. They're 110 CF. They're about 160 bucks a piece. Pretty expensive, but they run 24 hours a day. They're relatively good, for the exception of the other one, which is the same one as that. The bearings are starting to go, so I'm going to have to try to fix that. But anyway, it sucks all the fumes out if there's any issues. Of course, I have central air coming down here 24 hours a day, so I got fresh air coming in. Of course, I am pulling out some of that fresh air, but the humidity is pretty good. No issues with that. Stay about 50%, and I do have a dehumidifier if I need one, but I don't really use it too often because of the fans. But anyway, that's with the fumes and all that stuff you guys were asking about. It's taken care of. No worries. I'm not down here suffocating or inhaling toxic fumes all day. Yeah, so I figured I'd let you guys know. Another thing that you guys were asking is about these holders, these rolls. So I make these holders, they're really easy. I just made them and print them out real quick. And I don't hang up all my filament. I just hang up the colors that I use often, because usually if I'm not using it, I will come in here and seal it, vacuum seal it, and then put it in one of the totes, you know, either PETG or PLA or ABS or whatever. But if I'm using a color all the time, I don't want to keep sealing it, not sealing it, so I just keep the ones up there that I use often. And then, yes, if you keep it exposed to air and humidity too long, the filament will crack and not be good, but this stuff doesn't last long enough for it to do that. So 3D printers are doing very, very well. I love them. And we're going to be adding 6 more of them in the new fish room / 3D printer room. We're going to be adding 6 more of these specific ones, this exact same setup. And yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be nice, because when I have that many printers, I'll be able to get orders out a lot quicker. Right now, it's turnaround times like 3 to 5 days, you know, depending on the print. If you're putting in like 20 or 30 items to be printed, expect that to take about a week or so. But anyway, that's it for the printers. Moving over to the freshwater tank. I set this up a few months ago. Nothing crazy. I haven't done anything. I haven't even done a water change. The cat has fell in the tank, or the cat has done more with the tank than I have. She's always up here on her little stool here, or before I put the printer here, she was standing on there and getting in it, and I have a video on Instagram of her falling in the tank, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I just top off the ATO. It's one of these little micro ATOs. There's some filter pad stuff that I don't use. I just top that off every couple weeks. That's it. Feed the tank. They don't do anything. It's growing. There's not a ton of par down there, but it's cool. It's a nice change of color. And I got ghost shrimp and plecos and algae eaters and tetras and just nothing crazy, but I do like it. It just adds something different to the room. Now moving over here to the new printer. This is an Ender 5 Plus. It's got the bigger bed. Now the reason why I went with the bigger bed is because I'm going to be printing frag racks, and we're going to have our own frag racks. They're going to be suction cup because I want to save money for you guys. Like, I don't want to charge you with what I'm paying for those magnets. So we're going to do suction cup frag racks, and we're going to do custom ones in different colors and stuff. And this is going to be a good printer. It's big enough to do that. Do a little test print here with this little Benchy. Definitely got to do upgrades for this printer. New fan duct. Got to do new filament, heating element, thermostat, all sorts of stuff I got to do for this. So I'm going to do that a little bit later. Also the direct drive, so I can get rid of this giant Bowden tube. But yeah, it works. For $600, I was expecting a little bit more. The software is a little iffy, but it works. So I mean, I can't complain too much. Over here, we also have the microscope for the dino identification. It works out pretty good. I'm glad I could fit it all in my little area. New chair, you guys were asking. New chair with a little bit of a butt cushion, because I spent a lot of ass time or butt time in here. Of course, the computer, all that kind of stuff, yada yada yada. Octoprint, computer, recording, all that kind of stuff. Moving over, ooh, messing up the camera here. We have the coral cutting station, I guess. We got the Griffin saw, which I use not too often because a lot of stuff I can just break off of colonies. And then all my supplements and stuff. We got all of them on little pumps now, which is nice. We got the EcoBalance, the Chaeto Grow, potassium, AcroPower, and my seed and stuff. There's a whole dosing video on that. You guys can check it out. And yeah, so that's my little cutting area. Also, I have my sewing machine down here if I want to make filter socks. Yes, filter socks are out of stock because guys, I just don't have time to be making filter socks. I want to, but trust me, it's just, yeah, it's an issue that I'm having right now. Right now we have the 40-gallon, which I'm just gonna leave the blues on right now. It's pretty empty. The coral colonies are relatively small. This has been one of my main cutting tanks for the last couple months. I've been really hammering this tank pretty hard. Well, mainly because I don't want to cut the 300. The 300 is already pretty empty, given the overhaul we did, and just I cut from that tank so often. One thing about this setup and this system is when something goes out of stock, I need to cut more of it, and it's just kind of a supply and demand, and the tanks are dwindling, but that's okay. We'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, 40 gallons doing pretty good. No issues. I took a couple fish out of there because of some aggression. You guys will see them here in a minute. But yeah, speaking of fish, we have some. Ooh, these are my indestructible shoes. I figured I'd get them for the fish room, but they're not that indestructible. They have the steel toe, but yeah, this is turning into a rambling video. We got some fish in here. You're probably not going to see them. You can see my legs, which are looking kind of. Not that great. We got two sailfin tanks in here, smaller ones, and I have 3 small oh come on, fox faces. Yeah, so my phone shut off mid-sentence, so I know I wasn't going to buy any more fish. I said that previously, but I decided, looking around, I found some really good deals on some smaller, I mean like 1 to 2, 3-inch fish. Really good price, so I figured I'd go ahead and buy them now, kind of get them through quarantine, and then I'll just put them in my frag tanks so they don't have to deal with the aggression of the main display. That way I can build up my fish stock for the new setup. So not too bad, really good price, pretty healthy. They're in copper right now, no signs of any issues. So those guys have what, 3 weeks left. I have to look on the desktop for the calendar, but a couple weeks left, and then they'll be in the setup. Not new setup, but they'll be in the setup. So pretty happy about that. And I'm just going to do that over the next few months just to really stock these tanks up so it's easier and one less thing I have to do when we move. So, moving over here, this is one of my, man, that's blue. That is really blue. This is my WYSIWYG tank, which you guys are asking, do I plan on having more WYSIWYG on the website? I understand there's like 2 items on there. Yes, there will be more WYSIWYG once I get a chance to get in here and cut more coral. Man, that is super blue. But, yes. Plenty of coral. I need time to get in here and take care of that stuff. I'm a one-man show, except for packing. I do have somebody helping with boxes and stuff, but yeah, it's one of many things that I want to get done. Yes, there'll be more WYSIWYG, and I will take care of that hopefully in the next couple weeks. But in this tank, you can't see them. You might be able to see them. We have 2 Hippo Tanks, okay? They're like, oh my God, you got 2 Hippo Tanks and a 50-gallon. Oh, don't worry, guys. I got 2 Hippo Tanks in here, and I have 4 Scopus tanks in this tank. Guys, it's not a big deal. They're all relatively small, and they're just here for the next few months. It's not a huge deal. And these guys are really small. But I got those guys. They went through quarantine. Same thing. I plan on having, quite a few fish in the new setup. So great price on those 2 hippos. So they're in this tank along with 4 Scopus tanks. And moving over to the 300. Again, pretty blue. Guess I can back up so you guys can see the whole setup. It's doing pretty good. as I mentioned before, I am cutting this tank a lot. If you guys remember my overhaul video, or that last one, or the first one I put up, I said, one last look at the 300. Well, guys, that's the last time the tank's ever going to look good. For a couple of reasons. One, I cut too much, too often. Some of you guys are probably wondering, why are you doing that? Guys, I run a business. I sell coral for a living. I grow the coral here. I don't import anything. Everything that you see on the website is grown by me personally. So if something's out of stock, as I mentioned before, I have to cut it, and I have to, you know, I just have to keep going. That's how it is. Plus, we're hoping within 6 months of the new year, we'll be at the new house with the new setup, and I'm not really trying to grow this thing out anymore. I'm just cutting it based on what I need for coral and what's going on, and of course I got to get in there and do that, a little bit more of that. But yeah, so what the tank looked like before I did the overhaul is the best that it's ever going to look, at least in this current setup. Maybe, and, you know, in the next setup it's going to be a little bit different, but for this current setup, that is probably the best it's ever going to look. I've accepted it. It's frustrating, but I know that you know, I learned a lot of lessons on my coral placement. We grew a lot of coral relatively quickly, regardless of cutting it every single week, and colonies just got out of control and started killing each other. That was the whole gist of the whole build, and a lot of lessons learned, and hopefully I'll take those lessons and do better in the next build. But other than that, the tank is doing pretty well. The aggression is one of the issues that I have, mainly because the swim room, even though there's not really many colonies in here, I still feel like there's not enough room. Big Bertha here ripped out this whole. This is just one of two colonies. This is actually the, you guys can see it, the candy cane colony. She just ripped the whole thing out the other day. She ripped out my Cali Tort, ripped that whole colony out, found it on the bottom glass, and she's getting so big. I mean, she's massive. It's gonna be hard to see her, but she's a big girl. She's not that far away, but she's probably 2.5 inches thick, almost 3 inches thick. She's starting to get her streamers now. She's a big girl. I know it's blue, but she's moving. But anyway, she's just making room. I still haven't quite decided if she's going into the 1,000. I don't know. I really care about that fish. I really like that fish. It's one of my favorites. But she's a bull, man. She's just wrecking colonies. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to work out well in the new tank. So we'll see. But anyway, down here, filtration-wise, everything's good. Trident, it's actually out of reagent. That's why it's red. I got to take care of that. Not that bad. It's pretty accurate. I have yet to calibrate it. Oh, there's a cat upstairs knocking toys around. I haven't calibrated it yet, but it's still pretty accurate. I check with my Hannah checker my alkalinity every single week just to make sure there's nothing going on with the Trident, and it's fine. It seems to do pretty well. Calcium reactor, the new media. I'm not using the Reborn anymore, and I got to top it off, as you can see, but it seems to be pretty good. Magnesium, still struggling to keep my magnesium elevated. Even putting a ton of magnesium in there with magnesium media, I've had to dose it separately to keep it elevated. So, yeah, I don't know. Not a fan of that, but it's just kind of part of the whole situation. Other than that, everything's pretty good. Nile Skimmer, I haven't cleaned that yet. Since the start of this system, what is it, 2 years now, something like that? I have yet to clean this skimmer, and it is rocking. I'm getting a second one for the new build, so we'll run this one and a second one in the sump. And I love that thing, man. That skimmer is just insane. And of course, it goes over to the collection bin and does fine. Refugium macroalgae is finally starting to come back. Killed it off quite a while ago with my nutrient dip. It's coming back. It's doing pretty good. Other than that, the sump is just dirty. Let me know, by the way. I will be selling, when we relocate, I'll be selling the ATO, the calcium reactor chambers only, not the bubble counter or the carbon doser or anything like that. I'll be selling the sump without the skimmer, without the pumps, and then, you know, obviously the refugium, all that stuff's included. So if you're interested in that, let me know. You're going to have to come pick it up, unless you want me to pay extra for me to come drop it off. But anyway, I'll be selling that whole setup when we relocate. So just, you know, if you're interested, let me know. But yeah, it's pretty good. The chiller just kicked on. And yeah, no issues with that. Very happy about that. I've been able to save quite a bit of money. Keep my central air a little bit higher now, around 75, so I don't have to keep it at 70 or 69 to keep the temperature down here good. The chiller kicks on about once per day, and it doesn't get too hot in here because the air kind of shoots behind the tank and goes out the other side, and then of course it gets sucked up with the vents. Doesn't get really too hot in here with the chiller. I do notice the difference, but nothing crazy. The tank temperature goes down, it does fine, and yeah. Really like the chiller. Awesome investment on top of the what is it, the generator we got a few months ago as well. Over here, RODI setup. I actually switched these 3 chambers out. Instead of using the cation, anion, and the mixed bed, I just went to straight color changing resin. That's those right here. So what happens is this one will burn up, and then I'll swap these 2, refill it, put it back, and just keep going. Mainly because I'm too lazy and I don't feel like messing with these 3 different anymore. I just fill them up with the 3 of the same DI. Pretty good setup. I just changed out the RO membrane. I did have a dual membrane here, but I don't really use that much water anymore when it comes to topping off, or in general. I'm not doing big water changes because I'm always just replacing water from shipping coral. So I took off one of the membranes, and now I'm getting, instead of 40 TDS going into the DI, I'm getting 3, which is really nice. And I changed out the membrane, of course. I'm at the max. It says max recording, but it's still going, so I don't know what that means. Anyways, the Chaeto growing station, or not Chaeto, the phytoplankton. Jeez, I can't even. I'm losing it today. I'm losing it. Phytoplankton station. Anyway, that's what that is. We got the 30-gallon ATO, or not ATO, saltwater top off. So when I ship coral, I just use that, turn the valve, and fill up the tank with. That is. Did you just fall down the stairs? Did you just? You did. Look at your tail. Oh, you hurt yourself. Come here. Come here. Did you just jump down a flight of stairs? Look at your tail. You okay? She just jumped down a flight of stairs. And there's no one even up there. So that cat is, she's something. I shaved my beard so she wouldn't suck on my beard at night, and now she just bites me. So that's fun. Yeah. Anyway, moving back over here, the other 2 tanks that are attached to the whole setup here, doing pretty good. This is where this tank right here is where we're going to put those 5 new fish when they get out of quarantine. There's nothing in there currently. I will be putting another rack just like over here, and we'll be able to let them swim around and live in there without worrying about any kind of aggression from the main display. They'll be safe from any other fish. They'll be good to go. Over here we have the last tank, which is, I raised the racks up to get more room for the fish to swim because there's 4 tanks in there, 3 Scopus and 1 yellow. And yeah, so that's just SPS coral and some cut to order stuff that I had. But other than that, that's pretty good. I got some storage up top for boxes and all sorts of crap. I have 20 seconds left. The phone might make me start over, so I might as well just do it now. Okay, so I don't have to worry about it starting over. The last thing we're going to talk about here is the packing station. So a couple upgrades I did here. You guys know about the packing cart. I'm using the bag sealer, which allows me to ship out coral a little bit quicker now. I don't have to worry about leaking. I think out of, I don't know, a few thousand frags since I've gotten this thing, I've only had like 3 or 4 leak. And that's because the coral actually punctured the side of it. And I'm using 4 mil bags, so they're a lot thicker. No issues with that. So leaking is not a problem anymore, unless UPS decides to drop kick it, and that seems to be, unfortunate. It seems to happen, not too often, but it does happen, which is I don't understand. But anyway, the packing bench, pretty good. I got a new computer here with my label maker, of course, my tape and all the stuff I need to go out, caps and bottles and all sorts of stuff, and yeah. It works out good. I got the scale and everything right there, so I don't have to move boxes around. I just kind of get the boxes ready, pack them, and label them, and then put them on the stairs, and we're good to go. Just makes it quicker. Upgraded my bottles. You guys realize if you bought your NO3 and PO4 from me lately, I went to black bottles, mainly because my wholesaler for them doesn't have them anymore, and they won't have them until December. So I was forced to buy the black ones. I do have a little bit of the clear ones left, which is for the Phyto still, so I'm saving those for the Phyto. But I bought like 600 or so of the black ones, and yeah, that stuff's pretty popular, and it looks pretty cool with the label. I prefer to have a clear bottle, but I can't be too picky. The last thing here, besides the cat that is apparently still exhausted, well, she's falling asleep. I guess dropping down a flight of stairs. What's up? See how big she's getting? Insane. Because she never stops eating and shitting. So anyway, the last thing I want to look at here is my mixing station that I don't use. I can't even remember the last time I mixed water and did a water change. What I did do is I took the hose reel off because it was starting to leak after about a year or two, a year and a half, I'd say, almost 2 years. It started leaking, so I just did direct hosing there. And I got to get something to hang it up. I'll probably 3D print something later. We have the 160-gallon top-off or ATO storage. I was debating on adding one of these drums to my current saltwater setup and just kind of have water going through it because I need more water volume. That's one of the issues that I'm having with this system, is that they're just, I ship so much coral that I'm having a really hard time keeping my nutrients elevated, and then once my nutrients bottom out, I get dino, and it's a huge pain, and I can't wait till I have 3,000 gallons of water instead of 500, and it's not going to be such an issue. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the update. This is a long video. It's a pretty long video. But yeah, so this is my lair, my fish room, my down here all the damn time room. But yeah, so that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to support the channel, head over to FishOfHex.com. If there's a coral out of stock that you want, just subscribe to the email notification. When it comes back in, you'll be able to get it. And then, of course, check out the 3D printing. All right? And yeah, that's it, guys. Appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you tonight with the live stream. All right? Peace.